The Warriors just absolutely punked the Sacramento Kings on their home court, 120-100 in Game 7 to eliminate them from the NBA playoffs. And Stephen Curry, the greatest offensive player in basketball history, scored 50 points. Game 7, who's going to step up for the Kings? No one. Who's going to step up for the Warriors? Oh, the greatest offensive player in basketball history. One of the 3 greatest players of all time. Yeah, I said it. 50 points, Game 7, legendary performance. One of the greatest Game 7s ever. Also, legendary performance by Kevon Looney. 21 rebounds. 21 rebounds. They don't win this series without Kevon Looney. And a great game plan by Steve Kerr, who finally outcoached Mike Brown big time in this game. The game plan was to take the ball to the hoop. The Kings were running the Warriors to death. The Kings are really good, really young, really fast. The Warriors are old, a little slow, and very thin. Not much of a bench. They needed to slow the game down. So take it to the rack, get fouled, go to the line. It worked. All of a sudden, no fast break for the Kings, only 100 points. The defense started with that offensive game plan, and Curry was the one taking it to the hoop. Curry is so freaking good driving to the hoop. I mean, he gets credited as the greatest shooter of all time. Great shooter. In this game, he took 38 shots, made 20 of them, 7 of 18 from 3. But I thought his best moments were inside the arc by the rim. Just an amazing driver. Just an amazing freaking player. But let's talk about Kevon Looney, the second best player in the series, or at least on the Warriors. Do they win this series without him? No. Today he had 11 points, 21 rebounds, 4 assists. 21 rebounds. He averaged 15.1 rebounds per game in this series. Who is this guy? He's never done anything like this before in the playoffs. Now he's Hakeem Olajuwon, apparently. He's like not just the best center on the court, or he's the best center in the league. I saw a stat that he's like the 39th highest paid center. What center would you rather have than this guy? He ate Domantas Sabonis' lunch all series. I don't see how Domantas Sabonis can look at himself in the mirror after he let Kevon Looney eat his lunch. He took his lunch from him. Punked him. Kevon Looney, legend. UCLA legend. Let's go through who else played well in this game. Let's go through all the Warriors. Klay Thompson, only 4 of 19, but he was clutch in the third quarter. He had 7 points in the first half. In the third quarter, he hit a bunch of nice shots, had 8 points. That was big in the game. Andrew Wiggins, so passive. I mean, he had 7 rebounds, 17 and 7 from Andrew Wiggins. At least he got to the free throw line. 10 free throws. That was key. We're talking about the game plan of driving to the hoop and getting the line. Wiggins can do it. It'd be nice if he asserted himself. Like he should be the number 2 option on offense for the Warriors ahead of Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson is not the player he used to be. Klay Thompson's getting a little old, getting a little tired. Andrew Wiggins should assert himself, but he won't. He freaking won't. And that's who Andrew Wiggins is. I don't know if he wants to be a number 2 option. Maybe he prefers being a number 3 option. Maybe he doesn't want the pressure. But today, you would never know it was Game 7 watching him play. I mean, nothing against Andrew Wiggins. He was great last year during that championship run. But come on, dude. Can you play? Can you box out? At least. Anyway, kind of a passive performance from him. Draymond Green started, took 7 shots, made a 3, took 4 of them, probably 3 more than he needed to take, but 6 rebounds, 8 assists, no turnovers. Let's focus on the 8 assists, no turnovers, because this was the Steph Curry takes over game. You know, Steph Curry's not a volume shooter. He's not a selfish player. He's not a shoot-first player, but you're the best player on the team. You're the greatest offensive player of all time, the greatest shooter of all time. It's Game 7. They were going to lose if Steph Curry didn't take 38 shots or 30 plus. So that means he can't really facilitate that much. He still had 6 assists, but Draymond had to be the primary facilitator, point guard in the game, and he was. 8 assists, no turnovers, with great defense, and 6 rebounds on top of that. Great player, Hall of Fame player. Now let's talk about the bench. Jordan Poole, 19 minutes, 3 of 9, 2 of 6 from the 3, never got to the free throw line. He was so bad in this series. I don't understand what happened to him. He lost all of his confidence. He used to be a decent shooter, He used to be a decent offensive player. He's bad at everything now. There was a stretch in this game where he didn't get back after a made basket, gave up a layup to Keegan Murray end of the third quarter off a made basket, then gets the ball, brings it up the court, runs like wildly into a defender, gets called for a charge, and then gets benched essentially until the game was out of hand, which was the right call. You can't play him in crunch time. It's interesting. The game plan, as I mentioned, was take the ball to the hoop, get fouled, drive and lay the ball up. That should be his game, right? He's the quick one. He's the fast one. But he's out of control. I think what's really interesting is compare him to Steph Curry. He wants to be Steph Curry so bad. Steph Curry's 35 years old. He's not fast, but he's much better at driving and finishing in the lane and drawing fouls than Jordan Poole, who is way faster than Steph. What Jordan needs to do is slow the hell down. Don Nelson, he told Chris Mullin, who told my dad, who told me, that Don Nelson told him years ago, you got to slow down when you're driving through the lane because that's how you draw fouls. So Jordan Poole, slow down. I mean, you've been on Steph Curry's team a lot of years. You watch him every day. How many games do you have to watch him play before you figure out how to play like him? You want to be him, but that doesn't mean take off-balance threes and showboat. Yes, Steph can do a little bit of that, but he does a lot more. And you don't have the other stuff. Why am I talking directly to Jordan Poole? It's amazing that the Warriors beat this Kings team without really much of a bench. Really. Okay, so Gary Payton the second, though. 16 minutes, 2 shots. He doesn't do much, but great defensive. 4 blocks. That one block he had on Keegan Murray, who's 6'8". He's freaking 6'8". Gary Payton's 6'2". These really long arms, jumps up, blocks the 3. He's a great player. I know he was minus 13, which was the worst in the game, but I don't care. I trust Gary Payton the second. That guy's a really good player. Dante DiVincenzo, 8 minutes. I don't trust him. He had 2 rebounds. Just a dreadful series for Dante DiVincenzo. I don't know. Maybe he'll be better against the Lakers. I like Moses Moody. He should play more. He was 2 of 3 from the field. He made a 3. He's a little tentative. It's like, I think he feels that he doesn't have the green light to shoot because, I mean, they didn't play him all year. But when he shoots, he looks confident. Hey, I like Moses. They got to play him more. And the one thing I question Steve Kerr or whoever made the decisions, why was he not played more during the regular season? They played Anthony Lamb and Jonathan Kuminga all regular season just to realize in the playoffs that they couldn't play either and that they had to go to Moody, who hadn't really been prepared for this. Just imagine if they'd been playing Moody all year. I like Moody. I think he's got a real future on this team. He's a good player right now. So more minutes for him. He needs to shoot more, to have more of a green light. They need to encourage him to be more aggressive. Kuminga came in for the very end. Yeah. And then I want to talk about Sacramento. Not to like really, kick them in the groin when they're down, but they talked a lot of crap and they played really well, but they lost by 20 in game 7. I feel like no one really cares how well you played in game 6 or 1 or 2 when you play like that in game 7 at home. And let's just linger on the Kings for a second. Like, biggest game of all of their players' lives. Who's going to step up? Is it going to be De'Aaron Fox, who a lot of people think is a great player? Some people say is their best player. What did De'Aaron Fox do in Game 7 at home? Biggest game of his life. 5 of 19 from the field. 3 of 10 from 3 of 10. 10 threes this dude made just to make 3 of them, which is what he's essentially a 30% three-point shooter anyway. He had 3 rebounds, 6 assists, 5 turnovers, 5 fouls. Just an abysmal game from a guy who I would consider fool's gold. Then you got Malik Monk, another essential. I mean, those are the 2 main ball hogs on this team. I think this team is flawed. Their primary point guards, I'm pissing Kings fans off here, they're ball hogs. So Malik Monk, what did he do in the biggest game of his life? 4 of 14, 2 of 8 from 3. Nice, Malik. 9 rebounds. He really crashed the glass. 4 assists, though. Dude, you're a point guard. Pass the damn ball. And then they got their real future guy who's going to be an all-star, their best player right now, who their older players just freeze out, Keegan Murray. 5 of 10 from the field. Why would you give him more shots? He has to like pry the ball out of freaking De'Aaron Fox's hands, Malik Monk's hands. Hey, run a play for him. Not my problem. Not my problem. I don't think the Kings are going anywhere with De'Aaron Fox and Malik Monk as their primary ball handler playmakers. I think De'Aaron Fox is, what is he? He's really good at the teardrop floater. Other than that, I think he's super overrated. So I'm not that surprised that the Kings, couldn't you show up in game 7? You lost by 20 at home. What do you want a pat in the back because you made this, you took it to 7? Who cares? At home, lost by 20, embarrassing. Do better next year. But let's come back to Steph Curry for a second. 50 points. Greatest player. He's going to go down when he's all said and done, he could be the greatest player of all time. He's 35 years old. He's not finishing anytime soon. He's not slowing down. I mean, he may be slower, but he's not slowing down. When he finally retires at 43 or 44 or 45, his resume is going to be unreal. He's been the best player on 4 championship teams. Yeah, he was the best player on those teams with Durant. And if you don't believe it, watch Curry the rest of the playoffs and then watch Durant. It's obvious.